here, and today I have Ash Bergsma from Bergsma's Macrame. Hi, Ash.
Hi.
So I've seen a lot of the stuff you do, and oh my gosh, I don't know if I'd have the patience to do what you do. So, when did you start doing macrame?
I started in, I think, 2018.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just picking up. Yeah, just trying a new hobby, really. Yeah.
Well, it seems like it's took right off. It's definitely more than a hobby now.
I know. Yeah, I noticed that I really liked it. And so I wanted to see how far I could push myself and learn.
I love it. Like, well, you know that I got the banana hammock and
Yeah.
my little anti-road rage.
Yeah.
I love him. Every year when it's warm out, I put another air plant in, and then once it gets cold, I try to remember to take them out so he doesn't die.
Amazing. Oh.
I do love it though, and it's nice because I can recognize my car instantly. I'm like, oh, look, there's mine.
That's fine. Cute.
So when you first started, what did you start with? Like, did you start doing the hangings, or was it like the plant pots, or?
I started by learning knots, more or less.
Okay.
And I did it on a wall hanging, yes. And it wasn't plant hangers I started with. I started with wall hangings.
So what do you mean learn the knots? Like, is there a lot of different knots you have to learn?
There's a handful of knots that are come in useful to learn how to do in order to do very nice macrame.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I like to me a knot is a knot. Like I'm not exactly a sailor, so I don't know anything about them really.
I think that's why I like it, maybe. My grandfather was in the Navy.
Really?
So yeah. So and my mom's family grew up Maritime side over there.
So it's almost in your blood.
Kind of, right? That's maybe why I love it so much.
That could be. That's really interesting. I did not know that. So you've been doing this for like how long did you do it before you decided that wow, I really like this and I'm really good at it?
Oh, it was probably 2 years. 2 years of practicing knots and giving presents to people, and they're like, "Why aren't you selling this? Why aren't you selling this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So they my supporters, all y'all gave me the boost I needed to get confident enough to sell it.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot to build a business. Like you don't build a business overnight, and there's a lot of like kind of fear when it comes to starting a business.
Yeah.
So when you started your business, did you just start online or did you like go to markets or?
But it's funny. Yes. I loved the idea of having a table at a craft market. Loved
Yeah.
the idea. I was so excited to try it and set up my table and whatever, my display. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I couldn't attend a craft show. I couldn't and it was so heartbreaking. I wanted to so badly, and then COVID lightened up and they started letting people do those craft shows again. And I jumped on every opportunity to get a table here, there, and everywhere. And you have to be careful because I was scammed. Somebody pretended to be an event and I paid them. Stupid me. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's stupid you. I mean, some of those scammers are pretty convincing.
Right? And it's just all a lie too. And then I'm just heartbroken more and then feeling ridiculous.
Yeah, especially like this is you starting out really with your markets.
Yeah. Yeah. So that really, I took a hit and then I got a little more shy, went back into my shell, didn't dabble, didn't expand.
So have you gone to markets since then?
I did. I went to a few after. You really have to understand that you're not going to sell out at a market.
Yeah.
You're you're going to sell a few things. You may absolutely sell nothing. You have to understand that. If you're going to do this, you have to understand you're not going to sell out. You could, but yeah. I also teamed up with someone.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I teamed up with someone and then that split the cost of the event. You usually pay to go to an event and set up to sell. So that we split the cost. We had a great day together. We sold a bunch. And yeah, if you can do that, it just brightens your day a little bit. Have a friend come along.
Yeah, and having a friend come along would make it so that when there's nobody coming to your stall, you still have someone to chat with.
Exactly. Exactly.
So was that this year that you were doing those markets?
No, that was last year. Yeah.
Okay. So I know you've been working a lot lately. Did you manage to go into this year, or has it just been online?
No, it's all been online. It's all pretty been uh quiet, I'd say, on my
Yeah.
online presence as well. I don't have the um time, I guess. The
Yeah.
time it takes to set up all of the online stuff. Your online presence takes a lot out of you for sure.
No, I know that firsthand. It's really hard to keep up on the creating and creating content.
Absolutely. You have to be dedicated to both. It's like you have to learn a whole new skill if you want to be your online presence to be spectacular.
No, I understand that. And I know you've been still working because I've seen some of the stuff that you've created lately with the dinosaurs and those bunnies. They're
Yeah,
so fantastic. Like they're crochet.
they
Am I
are
right?
crochet. I may not say this right, but the type of crochet it is amigurumi. I may
Yes.
say it right.
I don't know if you said it right, but I know what you're talking about.
I absolutely love it. It is so fun to do. And with that too, I just picked because I picked up a lot of materials to see what I could work with and make macrame out of.
Okay.
And it's been laying around the house and I picked apart what works best for macrame. And then this other pile I have is just doing nothing. And I'm like, well, what can I do with this? But then I thought, you know what? Let's try crochet. I betcha this stuff would work great with crochet.
And so far, it seems to be working out great.
Yeah, it's working out really well. There you can do it freehand, but I don't think I'm there yet. So I just follow patterns here there. I find a good one that I think somebody put together really well
Yeah.
and follow along.
Guys, and you know what? It's really important that you can read those patterns and use those patterns. Like I find it difficult looking at the crochet patterns. Like I know what they mean because my mom taught me and I have done it, but they're if you don't know what you're doing, they can be really confusing.
Very, very. It's like an alien language for sure.
It is, it really is. um what was I gonna say? Oh, so like you made my little guy those tiny little dinos.
Cool.
Those were so impressive.
Teeny
Like
tiny. Yeah.
he still loves them. He runs
I
around with them and plays with them all the time.
so good. I what was I doing? I think just nothing. I get done work, come home. Oh, it was COVID. Yes, it was COVID as well. And I picked up the needles and I did those little dinos and I made like 4 sets of rainbow dinos.
Oh,
Gave
really?
to Scarlett and Ruby, gave them to my nieces. Yeah.
Well, they're a lot of fun and they're so adorable.
Thanks.
No, I mean that. Like they're so cool. I know. Well, my mom thought they were so cool. She wants you to make some for her.
Working on it. I'm working on it. It's coming out so great. I love it.
I'm excited to see. So now, like, you're still running your business, right?
Yeah, it's not in the forefront of my priorities
Yeah.
right now.
But
It's still,
you're working mostly word of mouth at this point.
yeah, pretty well. Yeah, yeah.
Like I know that's pretty much where my business has been lately. Like
Okay.
everything's been done online through
Yeah,
people. Like I know I started working, and it's really hard when you're working to come up with the amount of time you need to do that.
yeah, absolutely. You really rely on your friends to push that share button once in a while.
No, you really do, and it's really important that your friends understand just how difficult it is to make that online presence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some people have it, some people have it down, and maybe I'm just too old. I don't know.
I think it's more that they have the time. Like I
Yeah,
know just doing these videos while I'm working is it's a big time commitment.
it is. And then you've got to stop and edit. There's more to it than just this.
Yeah. Although this is the funnest part. This is definitely my favorite part.
At least you don't hate it. At least you love it.
That's true. And I do. I love talking and I love finding out what really kind of makes people tick and what it is about their art that they love so much. Like with you, what inspires you? Like I know I see a lot of animals and I see a lot of rainbows and
Yep. It's I'm very inspired by nature and um I want to say symmetry. Uh
okay.
yeah, I love things that uh nature creates and it's symmetrical or got the old pattern in it.
Yep.
I absolutely love that. Um Pause with my what was I going to say?
Like I know when you did the planters, like you did those special planters that they came down and had like a pocket to them.
Yeah.
They're very like the patterns in there are really, I guess you would say, symmetrical. They're very balanced.
Yeah. Because I like it when things match. I, it's hard for
Yeah.
it's hard for me to go abstract, I guess.
Okay. But is
Yeah.
that where you get like? Because I know you do those. Oh, I don't know what you would call them, but they're like shelves, like hanging shelves.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those are so neat.
Oh yeah. I had an absolute love for finding driftwood or branches on the yard. I'm like, we're just gonna burn these? Really? It's beautiful. Look at it. So, like, how can I incorporate this nature into art?
Yeah. And some of the wall hangings you have that use those big sticks, like they're so unique.
Exactly. They're not, one's not always the same. The other one you make is going to be a little bit different. You could make it exactly the same, but it's going to be a little bit different.
And I do like that about it. Like that's kind of Mother Nature, right? Everything is kind of the same, but it's always different.
Exactly. Like people, we're not all the same.
That's true. That's so true. And
Ah,
working in the public, you do see that a lot.
absolutely.
And I know what you mean about the driftwood love. My mom loved driftwood growing up. So she would send us girls, like She'd be like, you see that piece of wood up there? Go climb the hill and get that for me.
So good. So good.
We did all kind. We dragged driftwood out of everywhere. Like, just, my mom she loved it. So
Awesome.
And bless her heart, she gave me the love too, because I just love driftwood, and I love rocks too. Like, I love seeing something there that other people don't see.
Yes. We're the same with our love of rocks. I know you had a rock garden. I got mine going still.
Yeah, I ended up leaving mine in Ontario when I moved out east, because it
Kinda
was
hard
just too much. Yeah, it was really heartbreaking though, because all the rocks I had collected from different areas. So I
Yeah.
had rocks from everywhere. I even had rocks from the East Coast, believe it or not.
Amazing. That is
It's crazy the way that you fall in love with sometimes the weirdest things.
a little bit. Yeah. It's great.
So here's a question for you. Usually when I talk to people, I find that they get something from making the art. Like, I know usually you make art because you love it and stuff, but I find that it ends up giving you something, or you're able to leave something in your art. What do you think you get from art? Like, what does the art give you?
What does my art give me? That is a great question.
Like, I know for me, when I paint a picture, it kind of gives me like a piece, like an inside piece. Like, so I usually paint best when I'm highly emotional.
Okay.
And when I get it out, I feel kind of like at peace or balance, I guess, when I'm done.
Yep. The same for me. It's more of a sense of accomplishment for me
Okay.
because I give myself a purpose, what I'm going to create, and then I give myself, the time frame, and then I give myself the moment where you step back and you look at it and you say, "Oh my gosh, that is exactly where I need it to be." Or I also get "Oh, it's not quite there yet." So I have a lot of the "Oh, it's not quite there yet" moments.
I
And
think
I
we
go
all
back,
do.
yeah, and then I go back in and I fix it. And then once I get that aha, there it is moment, that's just pure satisfaction.
No, I do. I understand what you mean. Like, when I step back from a quilt and I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted it to do.
Yes.
Like, that feeling just makes me feel so proud.
Pure satisfaction. Proud, yes.
So, I know for me, like, it's really hard when you spend so much time on something and it's just not looking right. Like, for me, like, I'll be piecing something and I'll hold it up and I'll look at it and it just doesn't, like, maybe one side's longer than the other, or I didn't get the width right, and it's so frustrating to have to go back and fix it.
Yes. I have so many projects just left it for months at a time. Because it's not doing what I thought in my mind was going to do.
Yeah,
I
I know
do
that
back to
feeling.
it and I finish it, and then I look at it and say, what was the issue? Why did I not do this 3 months ago when I was angry at it?
It's funny because, like, at my quilt guild, we've talked about stuff like that, and some of the girls say that, like, if they finish a quilt and they don't know how to quilt it, they say put it on the shelf and wait,
Yeah.
and eventually it'll speak to you. So maybe those pieces are speaking to you.
Absolutely. That is great advice.
I never knew before I started the quilt guild, and I've realized in my own work that sometimes if I just put something away and I don't think about it right away, because when you keep looking at it and keep trying to work at it, it's like you get angrier. Like, I get angry with it.
Yes. And it's all right. That teaches you that it's okay to put your work on pause. It's okay.
Yeah, and it's something people who aren't creating don't understand, that there kind of has to be the right mental state to work on certain things.
Absolutely.
Like, I know for me, I have to be in the right mindset to kind of put things together the way I see in my mind's eye.
Yes. Yes. It's not like sometimes it can be like a job, like you give yourself, I'm starting this at 9 a.m. and I'm going to
Yep.
finish and done working at it by 4, whatever. But not all the time. You don't get there sometimes.
It is a process, like the creative process. It really is a process.
Yes. And honestly, I can go months with the creative bug going nuts inside of me. And then I can do another 3 months where I don't want to do anything crafty. Nothing. Absolutely no crafts. And then I also have when I want to do 7 crafts at one time.
Yep, I know that feeling too.
Right?
Yes.
All completely different, but they all need to get done now.
Yep, I know that feeling. And you kind of get upset with yourself because you're like, why can't I work on everything?
Right? Right? Yeah. It's weird. So absolutely strange. Like we talk about pausing an item, pausing that piece of artwork because it's not speaking to us yet. But I've got 3 pieces that are speaking to me at the exact same time right now.
Yep.
God.
I know. It's hard though because you have to pick which one. And
Yep.
like, your brain is like all of them, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I know, like, what you were saying about not feeling crafty, like not wanting to create
Yep.
anything.
Yep.
And I find in my life that's the time where everybody's like I have so many orders come in, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
always a timeline.
Hi.
And you're like trying to push yourself, and you're like,
Yep.
I'm not happy with it. And I mean, at the end of the day, the customer's always happy with it.
Sure.
But me, myself, I'm like, I'm mad at it. I don't like it.
Professionally speaking, you could have done better.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
your heart wasn't in it or something. But it
Yes.
still turns out to be a beautiful piece.
The exact same as if you were in that mindset to be creatively in love with it, for sure.
Yeah, and it's such a, like I say, that creating is a really an emotional thing. And I find that for me, like, my emotions really do dictate what's happening creatively with me. Like, if you see what I mean though, like in your creations.
I suppose. I don't
Like,
know. I don't think macrame can. It probably could, but I don't think I have worked on something where, I mean, anger has been showing. So I'm looking at a piece of artwork right now, and yes, I was frustrated doing it, some of the pieces, but I don't think the frustration is showing in the art.
but by the time you're done with it, right? Like, by the time you, because usually if you're having an issue with the art, right? Like, you have this idea, you start working through it, you get stuck. There's that frustration or anger towards the piece,
Yep.
and then somehow you find out what you needed to do to it, and you're able to finish it.
Yep.
And once you reach that point and you finish it, it takes on a completely different feeling. Like, then you're looking at it and you're like, okay, now
Yes.
I'm happy with it.
The image of yes, 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 absolutely. Absolutely. It comes back to you tenfold and you just want to do another one because it worked how exactly you wanted it to. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But then you start the second one and you're like, oh, I remember this feeling.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Like I find that not only do I get my feelings out into my art, but I feel like my art has feelings sometimes when I'm done it.
I get that vibe. Yep. I get that vibe 100%.
And like I love the feeling that your art has. Like when I look at your wall hangings and stuff, and I look at the I'm not going to say it right, Amigurumi,
Amigurumi?
yeah,
Amigurumi.
Amigurumi. Yeah, but when I look at those creations, like the dinosaurs and the bunnies and all those, it's like it's so cute and sweet, and it just looks like I don't know, like it fills me kind of like with warmth. Like when I look at my kids' baby clothes, I feel that like, oh, I just want to hold it.
That's exactly it too. Once not even when it's finished. So I started an amigurumi crochet project, the bunnies. The
Yep.
orange one was with a fluffy yarn, and I'm like, I think I need to go, if there's a bigger yarn, I can do a bigger yarn. And then I started the white bunny, and I'm like, I knew it. The size of the yarn is gonna make this bunny 2 times bigger. And I wasn't even done the legs. It was just 2 little legs and a little belly. And I'm like, oh, look at it. Do you see? It was, yeah.
And they look like you just want to pick them up and snuggle them. Like they're so sweet.
Absolutely. They are so fun to make too.
That's exciting. I love getting like starting the project and you start working through it and then you start getting really excited
Yeah.
about the end.
Yes.
So like I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think makes your art unique?
Um, it makes it unique because I'm doing it. I know that's just such a dull, boring answer, but because that's the thing with macrame. I said to myself, anybody can do this, but I'm doing it. I'm taking the time to stand here and knot these pieces of rope.
Yep.
I'm doing it. Whereas I know anybody can go and put knots in pieces of rope. But it's me. I did it. I made sure when I was creating my artwork, I made sure that I washed my hands every single time I touched any of the product. I put nice smelly lotion on too, in, in case a smell came off of it or whatever. But I put the utmost care into creating, not just finished product, into creating as well.
And you can see that. Like I feel that when I see your wall hangings. Like there's I know it sounds cliche, but I really do feel like you put a piece of yourself in your art. And I see the piece of you in your art.
That's so good. That's so good.
But it's the truth. Like when I look at your art, I can see your personality coming out in it. Just the way that it's put together and how it looks like. And I love that about your art.
That is amazing to hear. Honestly, I've never sat down and thought about my artwork in such a detailed way, but that's so cool to hear.
No, but it's true. Like I feel like when I see your pieces, like I can almost feel you in them.
Aww.
And I may be a little biased because I really do love your art. Like I love what you're doing. I think it's so cool. Like
Thank you.
all of it. The wall hangings, the banana hammocks. But actually, can you explain what a banana hammock is for anyone who's listening that doesn't know and they're just thinking of a giant banana like relaxing by the sea or something?
Oh. I made banana hammocks for under your cupboard. So I macrameed onto 2 dowels that were the size of underneath of your cabinets, and it's just a little hammock there, and you'd attach it to under your cupboard, and you put your fruits inside.
And my boys love it. They know immediately what I have, and they eat it.
Perfect. Perfect. I also love useful art. That's the thing with the macrame. I was getting kind of annoyed with the wall art. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, I can do it very well, but at the same time, it's just sitting on the wall doing nothing. Whereas I know I can use this material to make it like a banana hammock.
We should have enough time.
Yep. And that's true. Like making those banana hammocks, and like I mentioned before, the shelves, and even those plant hangers, all of those are amazing for practicality.
The practicality, exactly.
I love that you can use them in your life. Like it's not only beautiful and it's not only handmade, but it's serving a purpose.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. I love textiles. I have like fabrics, fibers. I call myself a fiber artist because I love working with ropes and threads.
And you are a fiber artist.
Yeah.
Like that is really, like, to me, that's like the epitome of a fiber artist. You're using these fibers and creating something with them. And it's art. You can't say that what you're doing is not art. It's just beautiful.
It's so fun to pick up a ball of yarn, and then when you're done, you have a bunny.
Yeah, or like a plant hanging or a banana hammock, or I mean, there's so much that you've done. Like, it's so cool. And to know that you've only been doing this for, what is this, 5? This is year 5 for you?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
That's crazy. You have such a huge repertoire of stuff you've done and created.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty exciting.
Do you find that it takes you a long time to make one of your little, your crochet guys are probably about this, like the I can't say it.
Here are my babies. Not my babies.
Oh my goodness, they're way bigger than I thought they were.
Yeah.
They're so adorable.
Yeah. The size comparison.
Does the white one have a bow on it?
She has a bow. She also has a little skirt and a bow and a little.
Oh no!
She got a little tail. She's also got a tail.
How do you make those tails?
Oh my gosh, that's very difficult. So that's actually the faux fur yarn.
Okay.
And I love learning. I absolutely love learning. And that's a curveball right there. I picked up the faux fur yarn thinking, oh, this stuff is going to be so fun. What can I create with this? And then getting it on the hook or working with it, I'm like, how on earth do you do this? So, trial and error, little bunny tail nub after bunny tail nub that's gone wrong. The girls have tiny hats for their dolls, like tons of them. Yeah.
That's awesome. You could almost sell Barbie hats then.
Right, yeah. Just from learning how to do one properly.
Yeah, but that's really cool that you learned how to do that. I couldn't do that. If someone said, you have to do this bunny tail, like if you do this bunny tail, you'll have $50 billion, I'd be broke walking out there. I wouldn't know how to do it.
I love a good challenge. I do.
No, I can see that though, like the amount of stuff you've done and how you've branched out too. Like you started with just the wall hangings, which were beautiful, and then it seemed like as soon as you mastered that, you moved on to something else.
Yep. I hope that's not a downfall where I know that I've mastered it and I'm bored of it now, kind of thing. So I try to find something else I can do.
Yeah. I know that feeling. Like I love, so like when I started with my purses, I know how to make purses now.
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
make a purse like nobody's business. And
Yep.
then I have to do something. I have to learn something else now. I have to try something else now.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you've just taken that, like, I mean, you're making stuffies now.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me. And they're beautiful, and you're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you. There was a moment while I was macrameing hardcore where I did think about the crochet hook in the macrame work because
Oh.
some of the knots were very, very hard to get through. And so I'm like, you know what would make this easier? The crochet hook. Hold on, I'll go get that. Yep, that did it just fine.
Oh, that's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, a little bit. And then I'm
Or
like,
in this
okay,
case, the bunny.
yeah.
Now, what were you gonna say?
That's where I tried crocheting a little bit more than just help out with the macrame knot.
Okay, so you kind of like inadvertently got into crochet.
Yeah, like they melded together in my experimentation and learning. Yeah.
That's really unique. So macrame made you into a crocheter.
I think so, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
That's exciting because, like, usually it's very purposeful when you try something new, right? Like you're
Yeah,
like, okay, I'm gonna try this.
yeah. I do that. I see that for sure. You know you want to try something, and sometimes you fail. I've failed a bunch, but
We all have.
yeah, you keep going and you find out what works, what has actually worked. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's like I know for me, I especially when I started my play, when the very first time I did play and stuff, it was not easy. Like I remember seeing online these clay dragons, and I was like, "Oh, they're so cute," and it must be so easy to make them.
Right?
And then they didn't turn out so great at first. I was like, "This is not easy."
Oh my goodness. That's
But
very
I did end up making some really pretty dragons, and then I still have the clay. I haven't worked on it for so long now because I've been so caught
just
up in everything else.
just like our gotta do three things at once. That one's put on the shelf for now.
Yeah, it is literally sitting on my shelf too.
Cute.
I have all my clay in a bucket there, and I know I'm gonna get at it again.
Yes.
I just haven't yet.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Robbie really wants to get in on it, and I'm like, I don't know, buddy.
Not yet. Not yet.
He has his own clay. You could get your hair and dirt in that clay. Like,
Too funny. I have a question for you.
oh, okay.
How did you know you wanted to put your artwork into business instead of just a hobby?
So, like, the first time I really started to sell something was when I was doing my clay. And a friend of mine at the time, she was running her own business doing stamping and some other stuff. Mainly, she was doing stamping, though. Like, so you actually have tools where you hammer stamps into metal.
Yes.
And she had customers asking her for charms that you couldn't really make out of metal. And she was buying them at Michael's and stuff, these charms, and she couldn't find I think it was a transport truck was the first one. She couldn't find a transport truck. So she asked me if I'd make one. So I made her a transport truck. And then I made I think it was a school bus. And then she asked me for pigs. And I just loved the pig. I made like 50 pigs. Like I made so many of these little pigs, and they were just adorable. And then I started making more and more charms, and I was like, geez, if she's selling my charms,
Yeah.
I could sell my charms.
Yes.
So I started actually making them. And then I started getting into like jewelry making so I could make the charms into things like keychains and necklaces and earrings. And I just, it kind of rolled like that. Like I really started liking it. People loved it. So I started selling more and more. The two of us actually started going to markets. And I
Nice.
ended up outselling her. And she had been doing it for way longer than me. And I thought her stuff was way prettier than mine.
Amazing.
So it really kind of snowballed on me. When she first started asking me for charms, I was like, why do you want me to make them? I'm not even very good. and then it just kind of, I gave her all these charms and I realized like, hey, I could do this. And I realized I'm really good at this actually.
Amazing.
And then I got into all my other stuff too, and it's just kind of and
snowballed from there, eh?
yep. Like with you, I was like, okay, well I can sculpt now. What else can I do?
Yes, push yourself, learn. Yeah, never stop learning.
I agree. That learning is so important, and it kind of stretches you into what you should be doing.
True, very true.
Like you finding the crochet, like that's, I mean, the stuff like your macrame is gorgeous, and the crochet is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It is funny the way that kind of happens. And usually when you ask people why they've started to sell something, it's always prompted by someone else, or like there was a mistake that happened that kind of snowballed into this huge thing.
Right? Yes. Absolutely. Do you have
really
any
exciting.
do you have any hobbies that are not that you create art but you are not for sale?
So yes. I've been making
secrets then, secrets.
So I've been making stuffies and stuff for my little guys, but but I haven't been selling any, and I haven't. I don't know if I like. Maybe I would. My husband's always pushing me. Oh, you should make some to sell. There's a lot that goes into a stuffed animal. Like there's a lot of like I make my own patterns, so there's a lot of like shaping and stuff. Like I literally am working on a dinosaur for my son.
That's amazing.
And I've got all the pieces, most of the pieces rather, cut out already, and I'm almost putting them together. But it's something that I haven't shown anyone yet. I haven't really talked about. I did post on my online that I was doing it, but then I started working, and so it's been a lot slower than I thought.
Okay.
But it's exciting, and I like doing that. Like I like. So usually when I start something, I'm worried I'm not going to be very good at it. So I don't really want to tell everybody until I know that I can do it.
Right. I
And
do that too. I have made so many rough copy bodies of crocheted items, so many rough copies of wall hangings. I'm working out the plan to make a wall hanging also, like a rough draft to calculate how much materials you need and such.
And how long it'll take too, right?
Exactly. There is a bucket full of finished creations. There's also a bucket full of rough copy creations.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it is like, it's something that unless you have done it, you don't know what it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't know how long it's going to be or how hard it's going to be. And sometimes, like with my wallet, sometimes even after you've done your estimations and stuff, when you're doing the final project, you don't realize how difficult something's going to be or how long it's going to actually take to do it nicely.
Yep, exactly. My battery is draining from this.
Oh
no. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I got. It's at 10%. And it's just
Well,
down 9. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably just let you go then, so we can kind of, not let your call drop.
Right? No, if you want to, if you have more questions, we can do a two-parter, whatever.
Okay.
But got what you needed.
So I
Good.
have one other question for you,
Yeah.
and that is, what would you tell someone who's just starting out, or someone who wants to do macrame or is wanting to start a business? What advice would you give them?
If you want to do macrame, I would say lotion. You're gonna get some blisters. That's gonna hurt. Also, don't stop learning. If you really want to master any type of craft, any type of skill, just don't stop learning. Figure out a way to get the knowledge. Like look it up online, YouTube, get books from the library. Don't stop learning.
And that's great advice. That's probably the best advice you could give someone. Because once you stop learning, you're not going to grow anymore.
Exactly. Don't put your materials down either. Don't put the crochet hooks away, kind of thing. Get a ball of yarn, put a crochet hook in it, leave it on your couch. You will create something, guaranteed.
That's great. That's great advice, and you're so right. But thank you so much for coming. Like, I really appreciate this chat, and I've had a great time. I've had a great time with you.
Good. Thanks for having me. This was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. This is great. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashley, and we'll talk later.
Okay. Bye, girl.
Bye.